Hello, my name is Glenn Heap, and I'm representing Rio Hondo College's Student Health and Psychological Services Office. And I'm one of the therapists there that meets with students individually and that meets with students in groups. And we have several other therapists at our office too. And our services are available free for all students, regardless of if they have insurance or not, and if they're documented or not in this country. And I'm here to talk to you about self-care, about our mental health and what we can do to take care of ourselves so that we can feel good and that we don't let sadness, anger, and fear and worry consume us, and that we can live mindfully, that we can live joyfully and enjoy our life. 2020 has not been a good year. Started off with COVID-19. That's what it stands for, in case you're wondering where that term comes from. Especially a month or two ago, we were really feeling locked down. And even now that things are opening up, I know we're nervous and we're still not going to be back on campus. And that's hard for all of us, including the faculty. You got through high school somehow online. Maybe your mom was next to you with a whip and chain. Or maybe you were by yourself and fell asleep a couple times during some Zooms. We hope that when we graduate from school, we learn more than these architects did while they were studying through Zoom. And then the Black Lives Matter came up again because George Floyd was murdered under the knee of a police officer. And that sparked lots of protests and some civil unrest and some marches, including some right here in Whittier. Tolerating racism is racism, this sign says. And then we learned that we don't want to just not be racist, but we want to learn to be anti-racist. And you'll learn more about that at Rio Hondo College. Now I want to tell you a little story about myself and my family, and it has to do with finding joy and being happy. So I loved being the coach of my children's baseball and softball teams as they were growing up. And my daughter Savannah, the little girl on the right, really liked softball, and I liked coaching her. As Veronica got older, she wasn't that interested, my oldest daughter, but Savannah continued to be interested, and I was excited, and I would dream that, oh, maybe one day she'll play at UCLA, maybe she'll be the first female Major League Baseball player. And then when she was 14, and I told her I was on my way to Sorensen Park to sign her up for the Summer League, she said, oh, Dad, I've been meaning to tell you, I'm not interested in playing this year. I was sad. For a second, I was mad. I thought, should I tell her she has to play? And I thought, what kind of father do I want to be? So I did the right thing. And of course, I let her drop out of softball. Well, years passed. She ended up graduating from Whittier High School and going up to UC Berkeley, graduated from school there, met a real nice boyfriend named Santos. They moved in together and were living in Oakland when I got a call from her saying, Dad, guess what? Santos and I just signed up for a softball team and we're the coaches. And we signed you up for the roster. I said, what? She said, yeah, maybe you could come up sometime and play a game with us. Oh, I was so happy. That's a dream come true, to be able to play sports with my kids, because I love sports and I love my kids. So I drove up to the Bay Area for their second game of the year. We were warming up and it was fun and I was meeting her friends. And then she came up to me and she said, Dad, I just wanted to let you know that last week we lost 24-0. I thought, yikes. Then all the players got together and I just said, hey, how about we set a goal of scoring 1 run today? And they're like, yeah. I go, come on, let's put our hands in a circle and say 1 on 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. For 1 run. And then my daughter said, hey, Dad, I put you down to bat first. See if you can hit a home run and we could score a run. So I hit that ball as far as I could, and I ran as fast as I could, and I got all the way to third, but then they threw the ball into the pitcher. I thought, dang it, I didn't score a run. So the next batter got up, and they struck out. I said, shoot, I can't advance on a strikeout. The next batter came up and hit a ground ball to the shortstop, so I took off running, and I slid in home, and I was safe, and we were cheering, and we were excited because we reached our goal of 1 run. Then they got the next batter out, and we went out on and took the field. And the other team, I forget their name now, the other team came up and scored 14 runs. So it was 14-1. And then we came up again. The Honey Batters was the name of our team in the top of the second inning. And we went 3 up, 3 down. Nobody got on base. And then they got up and they scored 18 runs in the bottom of the second. So if you're keeping score, it was now 32-1. I'm like, oh shoot, this was even worse than their first game. And then the umpire said, last inning. And I thought, what the heck? This is only the 3rd inning. Usually softball games are 6 or 7 innings long. And then I looked at my watch and I realized that there was a time limit of an hour a game. And it took them so long to score 32 runs that we had eaten up a lot of time. And then I looked at our team and we looked a little sad. And not even everybody on our team had batted yet. And I thought, I'm going to ask for something. I'm going to ask for something you don't usually ask for in a baseball or a softball game. And they might say no, but I'm just going to take a risk and ask. So I looked at the umpire. They wore blue shirts, so you call an umpire Blue sometimes in baseball or softball games. I said, hey, Blue, what if you give us 6 outs this inning? The pitcher on their team heard. I think they realized we were never going to catch up. It's 32-1. And the pitcher and the umpire looked at each other. They looked at our team and they said, sure, you can have 6 outs. So we were really happy. So we huddled together, the Honey Batters, and we decided that we wanted to try to score 5 more runs since we were getting 6 outs. And so one by one, the batters went up. We were cheering for each other. We were really excited. And wouldn't you know it, we started to get some hits. And I looked at the other team and they saw that we were so happy and they were starting to smile too. I think they were enjoying that we were trying so hard. And then little by little, we scored a run, then another run. They got their 4th out. They got their 5th out. And then they got their 6th out. And we had scored 3 runs and it was now 32-4. We were short of our goal because we had decided we wanted to score 5 more runs. And then all of a sudden, the pitcher and the umpire look at each other. They get a smile on their face and they look over at us Honey Batters. And I think it was the pitcher who said, we're going to give you 9 outs. We said, yay! So we sent some more batters up, and wouldn't you know it, before they got the 9th out, we scored 2 more runs. And we lost the game 32-6. But we met our goal, and we had fun. And I want to show you this picture that the pitcher on the other team was so pleased to see how happy we were that he volunteered to take our team picture. And I want you to look at our faces. Does this look like a team that just lost 32-6 and it took us 9 outs to get those 5 runs in the last inning? By the way, my daughter is all the way on the right in the back row and her boyfriend is kneeling right in front of her. And I tell you that story because sometimes happiness isn't maybe what other people think it is, meaning you'd think we'd have to win the game. We did our best, we set a goal, we met it, and we had fun. Here are some of the people from our Student Health and Psychological Services office. You see Tito, one of the EMTs. We always have a couple of EMTs there. My boss, the director of the Psychological Services office, is all the way on the right, and her name is Dr. Dena Sanchez. And then 2 people over, you see the secretary, Maria Ordaz. And then you see a couple therapists that were with us previously. But we'll have some new interns when you start school in a few weeks. And if you want to come to one-on-one therapy, I love this little meme. Maybe our thoughts are all jumbled in our head. But as we talk to a therapist, sometimes we, meaning, the client themselves, starts to sort things out. I know the therapist is helping them, but a lot of times the clients figure it out themselves when they have someone to talk to. We also do group therapy, and I'm going to tell you about 6 of our groups. One of them is called Rise, Together We Grow, and this is for students that were once incarcerated or maybe had family members that were incarcerated. On Tuesdays, we have a group that's open to all students, and it's called Coping and Connecting. We especially talk about how to manage anxiety, depression, and anger, and about how to have healthy relationships. On Wednesdays, we have our 'Cause I Love You group from Queer Initiative and Student Health Services. And this is for our LGBTQ plus students. On Thursdays, we have a group for our students that were formerly in the foster care system at some point in their life, and that group is called Resilience. On Friday mornings, our students that are undocumented have a group at 11 o'clock. We call it UndocuTalk. Those are our Students Without Borders, or our Undocu Scholars. And then also there's another group. If you look at this chart, it has all 6 of the groups, including one for which I don't have a flyer, and that's Circle of Care, and that's for our single parents. We also have groups with our veterans and from the armed forces, and we may add some other groups in the future. And right now they're on Zoom. But maybe in January, we'll be back on campus and we can meet in person. I'm at all of those groups, and in each group, I have a different therapist that works with me as a co-facilitator. Also in our office, if we get to be there in January, cross your fingers, we have a room called the Serenity Room, where you can go and chill and relax. We also have something called the Mind Care Kiosk, and that's in our right outside the counseling center, where you can answer some questions about your mental health, and it'll give you some resources if you need some. You will never speak to anyone more than you speak to yourself in your head. Be kind to yourself. We want to be kind to ourselves and kind to others. We want to have self-love and self-compassion. We want to take a break, take a breath if we need it, and just take a moment to relax. Matter of fact, we can do a quick breathing exercise right now. When we start to get excited and worked up, sometimes we have a shortness of breath and our heart starts to pound. If that happens to you, one thing we can do is breathe in and breathe out, but we are going to breathe out for twice as long as we breathe in. And that way, instead of going, we'll slow down our breathing. Do it with me. We're going to count to 2 to breathe in and count to 4 to breathe out. And we'll do it 3 times. Here we go. Let that go. We want to make sure we get out and get some exercise. We eat healthy. We have a little bit of junk food here and there, okay? And be happy. Here's some self-care tips. Let's ask for the things we need. Remember my story about softball? We asked for extra outs. You might need to ask your professor for something. You may need to talk to a counselor for some help. If you had an IEP in high school, make sure you connect with our DSPNS office so that some accommodations can be made for you. As you're studying, schedule some breaks for yourself. So I'm going to study for 45 minutes, and then I'm going to take a little break. Get up, outside, walk around, maybe watch one funny little YouTube video, and then get back at it. And let's make sure we maintain healthy habits. And You can look at that chart later if you want. You can pause it and read it. And then here's some online class tips. Design a workspace for yourself. Create a work routine. Give yourself some structure. Make sure you log on to Canvas. That's the platform we use, and that your teachers will post the assignments and let you know if you have any Zooms to watch and if they're live, or you can watch a recorded one. Assess your workload for the week and make a plan or a to-do list. And then think about the things you can control and the things you can't control. This is a list of things during the coronavirus that you can pause and take a look at that. Let's just focus on the things we can control. We can't control the things in the outside world very much. We'll be informed about it, but not over worry it. I don't know if you've heard the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do, John Wooden told us. And now a quick story. Once I heard a man named Michael Hernandez, who was an LA City Councilman. I was at some function he was at, and he told a story about he and his dad and the Dodgers. He said when he was growing up in the 70s, he loved the Dodgers, and his parents divorced, and he didn't get to spend much time with his dad. One Friday, his mom received a call from his dad saying that his dad was going to come pick up Mike and take him to a Dodger game. Back in those days in the 70s, you couldn't buy tickets on StubHub. You couldn't buy them on third-party sites. We didn't have them. We didn't have the internet. You just had to go to the stadium and buy them at the stadium. So they drove into the stadium. The dad paid to park, and then they walked up to the ticket booth. And as soon as he got there, Mr. Hernandez heard, "We're sold out." So Mike's dad was really angry, and he started cussing at the ticket seller. He said, "Why did you guys take my money to park? You're a bunch of thieves. My son and I were excited to see the game, and now we couldn't see the game." So Mike told the story that then his dad said, "Come on, Mike, let's get in the car." And they got in the car, they drove out to parking, they got their money back, and Mr. Hernandez drove Mike home, and they didn't go to the game. And Mike told us, "Yes, I love the Dodgers. Yes, I was disappointed and angry and sad we didn't get to go to the game. But really what I wanted was to spend time with my dad." Do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. Ask yourself, what could Mr. Hernandez have done? Couldn't he have taken him to a Buffalo Wild Wings type of place and they could have watched the game on TV and eaten? Or maybe they could have taken a bat and a ball and turned on the radio and listened to the game and gone to the park and played. Let's do what we can when things don't go our way. There's a psychologist named Dr. Martin Seligman who talks to us about PERMA. We want to have positive emotions, get engaged in things, get into it, find a flow, focus on our healthy relationships, whether romantic, friends, family, coworkers, and have good quality relationships. Right now, we need to do a lot of Zooming or Netflix party or different things we can do to stay connected. We want to feel that we have some meaning and some purpose in life. Some people find that in religion, some find it in other things too, but feeling that they have a purpose and then set goals to achieve. It helps us feel good when we do that. And just a quick tip. I know you guys are older, but I wanted to put this in about bullies. Sometimes there's people that talk bad about us and discourage us, and we don't want to let them get to us. So I'm just going to act this one out, okay? So the first one, somebody says, "You're weird." "I sure am." "You're a nerd." "Totally." "Your clothes don't match." "Duh." "I'm having a party and you're not invited." Thank goodness. Right? We don't need the approval of other people to be happy. And then I got permission this is a counselor at our school, and this is something we called mindfulness. Got her permission to share this with you. And she just one day during the quarantine loved eating her fresh, sweet strawberries. And we just want to look for the little moments of life to find joy. This is my boss and her two daughters. And one of her daughters said, you know what, Mom? During this quarantine, let's have a different theme for dinner every night. And this was Kardashian night. And that's why they all dressed up that way. I like to have a little fire in my backyard. I have a fire pit, and that makes me feel good. And the last thing I wanted to share with you is don't wait for things to get easier, simpler, better. Life will always be complicated. Learn to be happy right now. Otherwise, you'll run out of time. And I'm going to share a little video with you to close of a baby who has the best time in the world, being real mindful, just enjoying paper being torn. I wish you well at Rio Hondo. Don't hesitate to come visit us at the Student Health and Psychological Services office. Take good care of yourself, and love others.